In the world of rock and roll, there was always one little factor that was troubling and disturbing to me, many others like me too, is where are the women? We see the women at the concerts. We see them as groupies hanging out backstage. We see them as wannabes. We see them as amateurs. We see them for everything else except what they really are. The next best generation of music has always come from the women. Always revolutionized the thought process, and whatever happened to your subconscious that you lost when you became square and a virgin once again in a hostile, wolf-fed world. Along came Joan Jett and her fans, her patrons, and my first time ever seeing her at CBGB's. I'd been making clothes for the Ramones at the time, and Joan Jett was to appear as the takeoff band, the lead act. Actually, I called it takeoff band because CBGB's opened at 6. They might have 2 or 3 bands before they get to the 2, 3 main acts. In any event, though, I was really taken by her imagery on stage, how she handled herself, and then the history I'd hear from such notables as maybe the publicist or booking agent from Iggy Pop or one of various other groups that would show up at CBGB's to catch the show, the performance, look at the next generation of rock and roll, etc. And they'd all inquire about her and make the same statement, etc. It's like she's a one-hit wonder. Even when I thought I love rock and roll, her what they called her one-hit wonder song was the standard by which to measure other rock and roll songs by. So when I first met her, it was at an event. The first event of its kind. It was April of 84, the Waldorf Astoria, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I walked in with Scorpio, and we were dressed to impress. Naturally, we were the first of our kind to show up. Like, who are these guys? What's happening with them? And who's making their costumes? Joan Jett walked right up to us and inquired about all of that. When I suggested that she and Scorpio should do some tracks together, that she should do at least one song together, that maybe one of her songs that he could rap on, it narrowed down the margins, but it got us where we wanted to go. And she was so ecstatic about it, she asked us right there, what do you think we should call this one particular track? I looked at us, myself, Scorpio, and Joan Jett, who to my surprise had already been buying some of my leatherware at a couple of stores on the Lower East Side. I said, hey, we're all wearing black leather. Let's call it Black Leather. It just went on from there. So in her Good Music album, she and Scorpio incorporated a new genre in rock, rap, fusion that nobody could have ever conceived of. And the Blackhearts, they fused their rock with jazz, and it was one of her best albums. And it's called simply Good Music. So when Joan Jett appeared in another grandstand form with one of my, what I call plain off the rack jackets, and some tight leather pants, etc., jewelry, accessories, I thought that was cute, but at the same time, it showed something else too. Her whole image was hard. It was brass. It was certified as one-dimensional she-punk rock and roll in black leather. And she played it to the ultimate finish. And thank God for Joan Jett. It's like I said, if they had to have a rock and roll anthem, what better tune could you ask for than I Love Rock and Roll?